You're listening to the new WCEG Network, WCEGTalkRadio.com, or watch us live on Smart TV, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, WCEG Network. I am William Bill Edwards, your show host for Wisdom Wednesdays. For the next hour, I will be pleased to have as my special guest two of the most phenomenal women in the business industry serving South Fulton. Dyan Matthews, President and CEO of the Greater South Fulton Chamber of Commerce, and Carmenlita Scott. Did I get it? Yeah. Scott, President and CEO of Atlanta Airport Chamber of Commerce. Ladies, let me first apologize to something for you, and mostly to Dyan. Dyan, I know we changed the name of the chamber, yes, and it's now called the Greater South Fulton Chamber. We didn't have that on the flyer, but let me apologize for that, okay?
No problem.
But I'll get back with that in a minute. But I'm so elated to have both of you here in one place because I know that you all do such a phenomenal job. So let's talk about chambers right now. Okay. And Dyan, I guess you're on the screen. I'll start with you.
Okay.
What is this whole idea of chamber about? What is a chamber?
Okay. Thank you for that, Mayor Edwards. I just want to say that we appreciate the opportunity to be on your show. What is a Chamber of Commerce? Chamber of Commerce is a organization that's made up of, well, years ago when it was created, they said made up of tradesmen, but they're made up of business people. They're made up of community leaders. They're made up of anyone that wants to either promote their business or get connected to stay in touch with what's going on in the community. So chambers of commerce are like the vehicle in the middle of the community that is connecting everything. They're connecting our businesses to the school system, to other organizations that they can get resources from. And the main purpose of getting resources for chambers is to provide these resources to our chamber members. So it's an excellent way of getting small businesses especially connected to the type of resources that they need. So it's definitely, I call it a major spoke within the community that keeps things going.
Good. Now, Carm, I know that, the question will be asked, why are there two chambers? And what is their focus? Carm, I'm going to let you answer that one.
Okay, so there's actually three chambers in the airport region. There's the Greater South Fulton Chamber, there's the ATL Airport Chamber, and Clayton County Chamber. And so how we work together is I am the regional chamber for the group. And so I cover South Fulton and I also cover Clayton. And because we cover the airport itself and that community, that region, our members are from 22 states that do business within the airport region, Puerto Rico, and Canada. So each chamber has their own mission, and we work collectively with each other because we believe if one of us fails, we all fail. So we're all going to get the 5 stars. So keeping that in mind, we actually are close enough that when we're going to have an event, we will go to each other's events and critique them so that they can be better the next time. And it's not that we're looking for something wrong. We're looking for all the things that were done right and then how to improve on those things. So having more than one chamber in the region has been beneficial to everyone because the small business community can network within our chambers as well as networking with other businesses within our respective chambers. So my members can network with Greater South Fulton Chamber, their members can network with mine. We go, and so that's really a benefit to all. So collectively, we're being the heartbeat of the community.
Okay. So Dyan, what are the actual boundaries of the Greater South Fulton Chamber? What do you encompass?
The boundaries are, we start at I-20 and go south within Fulton County. So over to, that goes all the way down south to the end of Chattahoochee Hill and the beginning of Fayette and Coweta County. Over to the east, it would be, we end at Clayton County, and over to the west, we end at Douglas County and Cobb County.
Mm-hmm. what are some of the things that you as chamber leaders you struggle with in terms of getting the message out about what chambers do, how they do it, and about being members?
I'll start with that. There used to be a time that it could be a little difficult and challenging trying to get the word out. In today's environment, not so much. Thanks to social media, it's made it much easier to get the word out. Naturally, most chambers utilize their chamber email database, their texting system, and social media. But now it's truly about social media and having podcasts and just like this, being able to give our members opportunities to see what's going on, to stay in touch with what's going on, and then to participate themselves. So I find I'll say I've been here 13 years, and 13 years ago it was a little more challenging than it is now, but now it's not so much. What's challenging is some people get confused and don't really understand what a chamber is. And so because of that, they see different other entities that are doing chamber-like activities. So most chambers have standard things like business after hours, lunch and learns, things like that. And now they're hearing other types of organizations are having the same thing. And so we get that a lot where they're saying, well, what's the difference between you and so-and-so? Because they do all of this. And I have to tell them that the major difference is you are totally connected to all of the major industries that are within this area. So most of our corporate partners are inclusive of who you really probably are trying to do business with, and that includes the county, the state, all of that. And the other entities can't do that the way that we can. They cannot do that. And so we just tell them, come give us a try and you'll see. You'll see for yourself.
Carm, I guess, listening to what you described the Atlanta Chamber of Commerce or whatever you call it. But I understand that yours would be a little bit different. I think what I'm hearing from you is that you're talking about airport folk and people like that from all over the country. So your focus on getting membership and things of that nature in the word is a little bit different, wouldn't you think?
It's a little bit different, but it's still the same at the same time, in that our members are doing business in the airport region, but their companies may not have a home base here. For example, we have a company that is a major part of the chamber in California, and they do all of their work in College Park. So we have that situation going on. So it's a little bit different, but it's still the same as far as trying to recruit members. I agree with Dyan, though, that there are entities that are doing chamber-like work, and that can be quite confusing for others. And so there's constantly, and it's not just with us, it's with all chambers, there's constantly an opportunity to correct that, so that people, because for me, it's great that you joined the ATL Airport Chamber. However, if the Greater South Fulton Chamber is a better fit for you, I actually will send you that way. Mm-hmm. And Dyan will do the same. If our chamber is a better fit, she'll send that person our way. Sure. So collectively, we're all working together to get to the same outcome.
Which I was going to ask both of you that question. If I could be a member of both chambers, then why would I?
For different reasons. I mean, some of the same, but really different reasons. For instance, we have many members that belong to both or belong to all three, or in that case, belong to 4 if you include Fayette. The reason for it is exposure and connections. So Carm will have a lot of international business coming in and visitors and what have you, where ours is more localized because we're a county chamber for Fulton County on the southern end. So that doesn't mean that they can't have the same connections, but it wouldn't be right in your face like it is with hers. That's the difference with the ATL Airport Chamber being regional and being basically major focus is on the airline industry and the airport. So we say that to people that might not know what they want to do, but usually once they see that and understand that, then if it benefits them to belong to two or to the three, as we call it, the tri-chambers almost, then they'll do that. It just depends on your business and what your goals are.
Tri-chamber, anybody ever thought about that? I'm just kidding. Carmen,
it's been brought to our attention once or twice, but our attention is as far as it got, but it's been brought to our attention once or twice. I think the unique thing, though, is that the presidents of the three chambers in the airport region are very close. We're all females and we're all minorities. I think that in itself gives us a great bond to work with each other. For example, all three of us have leadership academies. This year, my leadership academy and the leadership academy from Clayton Chamber, we came together because our classes are on the same day. We came together and did a day at the Capitol together. Now, if Dyan had asked me, we would have done a day at the Capitol with her together also, but our leadership classes were not meeting on the same day. And the point of going to the Capitol was to take the leadership classes. Right. So as you can see, there's a lot of overlap. And with that overlap, there's a lot of collaboration.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And for instance, we would have been happy to join, but we knew that we are a sponsor of the Atlanta Fulton Day at the Capitol, and that is coming up tomorrow. So it wouldn't have really benefited us to join in with that one. We would have loved to, because our leadership class actually goes to the Capitol in March. That would have been great, but it was just not possible to have two leaderships within, say, 7 days of each other.
Yeah, and then to add on to that, last year, we all did the Capitol Day together. And it was, we call ourselves the Fab Five. It was the ATL Airport Chamber, the Greater South Fulton, the Clayton Chamber, Fayette, and Henry. We call ourselves the Fab Five. We all did it together, but it turned out to be virtual. And it was really amazing how we were able to connect all the technology together so that we were all talking to different constituents at one time, and then different members of the legislature at one time, and then the same members at another time.
Exactly.
Well, I tell you, it's a breath of fresh air to see organizations like yourselves able to collaborate and work with each other for a common good. You don't see that too much. Even in municipal government or state government, you don't see it too much. So it's exciting to hear that you all are working together to get something done. As I think about government, how is the chamber interwoven into municipal governments, state governments, or whatever the case may be? I know that most governments have their own economic development personnel or departments. How do you guys fit into that to assist governments in their economic development?
Yeah, we spend a lot of time, as you can imagine, with our local governments, especially the municipal governments within South Fulton County, the 8 cities. We are there to support them in what they need. Many times we are referring companies to them that are looking to locate within a certain area. We just had a major manufacturing company that built from the ground up in Fairburn, and in letting the city of Fairburn know that they were coming, it was eye-opening for them, and they were able to really roll out the red carpet for them. We work closely with each city's economic development division. Being a chamber that does not have an economic development staff, from time to time, we contract an economic development person to work with us, but the major economic development people are within the cities. And so as their partner, they call upon us when they need our assistance, and then we call upon them if the state has called us and we know that they're looking at certain cities. We let each one of them know that so that we can assist them in any way that we can. And then the other thing is the cities love to get information out about what they're doing. And so they know that they can depend upon each of our chambers to do that. And not only to get flyers out and putting things on our calendar and that kind of thing, but also a lot of times, I know we do this and I know Carm does, and so does Valencia with Clayton. We will actually do a Facebook Live with them and profile the cities like that. So we just come up with all kinds of ways to work with them. And we have, the regular annual mayor's council and that kind of thing. But we love it because we have a great relationship with our cities in South Fulton County.
Yeah, and then to take that a step further, our chamber also has municipalities on our board of directors as ex officio officers. And so that allows that connection to tighten up just a little bit more also. And it also allows those municipalities to understand and to see how they can go a step further than the airport region. So we're very close with Union City because Union City is just as far from the airport technically as College Park is in some areas to the airport. So that's also been very helpful.
Okay, explain to my people, when you say ex officio, what do you mean?
They're officers that do not roll off our board. They do have a vote, but they're not, our members do not have to elect them. They are elected by our board because they're a municipality.
Mm-hmm. Well, a long time ago, and I'm a former board member of the South Fulton Chamber. It was called that when I was there. Yeah. but one of the things we found out, the question we would ask is what lures businesses to our community. And two of the things I want y'all to talk to me about how you all are helping to enhance this. But the two things that were most prevalent when you asked that question was schools and public safety. And the bottom line being, nobody wants to relocate someplace where they can't get the child educated or they don't feel safe. How is that? You can bring big businesses down here, but you also want to bring these families. And how can you support something that will assist our cities, municipalities, and other educational activities that will shape what they need for their families when they come here?
Family is really important, and I totally agree with that. And we can do many things. So one of the things our chamber did this school year is we waited until the second week of school and had a school supply drive. And we contacted the Atlanta Public Schools, the South Fulton schools, and the Clayton County schools. And we asked them to send the students that were underserved and did not have school supplies to the Delta Museum. We stuffed a Delta Airlines 767 aircraft with school supplies. We put about 5 or 6 pallets of school supplies in the airplane. And so to give you an idea, a pallet is 64 by 64, and then it's about 6 feet high. So that was a lot of school supplies. And we had the students come to the Delta Museum. We gave them a tour of the museum, and then we gave the school supplies out while they were there. Some had never been on an airplane before, but it was with COVID, parents found themselves in situations that they weren't in before. So that was our way to help the parent with the school supplies or to help the family. And that was just a small thing that we could do. But while the students were there, we also made sure they got a good meal and that they got fruits and vegetables that they could take back home with them. So that was one small thing that we did. And then now we have a program called the YES program. It stands for Young Enterprising Scholars. It is part of the Pathways program for Clayton County Public Schools in their CTAE program. And we're teaching those students in high school how to become entrepreneurs. We're teaching them how to start a business, sustain a business, read an RFP, and obtain a government contract. We went through one cohort the first part of the school's year, and now we're in the second cohort. So by the end of this year, we'll have put 90 plus students will have graduated from that program. And when they come out, they'll be able to start their own business. So we're trying to help build the community and take those in lower socioeconomic situations and let them see that they can be part of the growth of the community as well.
Carm, I'm Joe Blow company, got a big company. I'm out of New York. I'm doing some business down here. What are you selling me? What are you selling me about this area, this region?
I am letting you know about the region in general. This region is film ready. This region is camera ready. This region is willing to do business with other businesses. This region is a region where municipalities actually are working with each other. So if I bring a company here and they're looking at a particular site, but it's not for them. For example, let's say they need warehouse space and they're looking in East Point and the warehouse space might be in Fairburn. Then I'm sending them over to Fairburn, but also we work with the economic development in these areas too, so that if someone's coming in and we don't know where to send them, then we're also asking them to give us ideas. So it's all a collaboration. One big collaboration is what we're doing.
And Dyan, you want to respond on that? Because I know you're doing some things too. I'm just wondering, what's the message that we're sending out through the chamber to entice people to come to our location?
Well, the first thing that happens is we stay in touch with the State Economic Development Division so that they stay on, they don't forget about us. And as they're talking to people that are looking to come that are looking for certain types of cities, that we remain on the list as viability out of the 8 cities that we have. Once they contact us, we put together something called the corporate ambassadors. And this is some of our major corporations that are on our board or are corporate partners of ours. And depending upon what type of company that is, we put them not just with the chamber, but with our corporate partners. So let's say if it's anything related to cables, power, anything like that, running that type of energy, then of course we know that the Georgia Power and Greystone Power are going to be at the table. We have learned through the years that number one, they want to know about your education system. We know that. So we spend our time letting these companies know about the demographics of the area. We purchased something called Size Up through the county to have all the latest demographic information that we can pull up immediately for that company to let them know, okay, if you're looking for a housing cost in this area, then these 2 cities might be the one you're looking at. If you're looking for schools that meet a certain standard, it's probably going to be in those same areas with those housing costs that they're looking at. But we're educating them to know what is out there. As we tell them, if you're coming to South Fulton County, you have a choice between living in a rural area, living in an industrial area, living in an agricultural area, you name it. We've got it all. Every single city is different within South Fulton County. So it depends on what they want. But we know that one of the main things that their employees are looking for before they even come this way, just like the corporation that just moved into Fairburn and opened week before last, they want to know, You know, if I'm moving my kids here, I don't want them in a bad school. And so we have to educate them to let them know that you're going to hear a lot of things, but it doesn't make it so. Here are the facts. Here are the demographics, and here are the facts of the school system and school performance and that kind of thing. And it really does help. And adding the corporate ambassadors, it means everything, because when these companies are talking to, these CEOs are talking to a CEO of a like company, it makes all the difference in the world what that person is saying, because they know that they've probably been through it themselves. So we try to make sure that we provide those kind of opportunities for people that are looking to move into our area.
Well, let's for a minute, let me talk a little bit about leadership. How are you planning for your leadership? I know that, you know, you all have an old program I know a lot of, and that's Leadership South Fulton. And Carm, I know you have leadership programs. Talk to me about those leadership programs. What are you trying to achieve, and how relevant have they been to your organizations?
Mm-hmm. I'll go. I'll go.
You're lit up, so.
Okay.
You were lit up, so I was pausing.
Oh, I was lit up. Okay. Yeah, no, Leadership South Fulton, as you know, Mayor Edwards, Leadership South Fulton began in 1989 with the people in that class, in that charter class, included yourself and myself and many other leaders, many other people that became leaders. Before I got to the chamber 13 years ago, I learned that the leadership class had been disbanded. And that was around 07, 08, somewhere in there. So one of my goals was to make sure that we brought Leadership South Fulton back. What was the main purpose? The main purpose was because through the years, we learned that there were so many people that had moved into the area that had no clue about South Fulton. They didn't know. I mean, they were arguing at political forums and things about whether Chattahoochee Hill was even in South Fulton County and things like that, or outside of I-285 on Cascade, that's not South Fulton County, and on like that. And our board and I said, enough. It's time to bring it back and to start educating people on where they are, and the good, the bad, and the ugly, which fortunately we don't have much of the ugly, but they needed to know, and they needed to know where you are, you know, what's in South Fulton and things like that. So of course they learn leadership skills, needless to say. However, they also learn about their community and these 8 cities that make up South Fulton County. We dispel a lot of the myths, which is very important to me. And we basically emphasize servant leadership, which is the other thing, because there are so many people out there that want to be leaders just to please themselves and not about serving the community. So it's like a combination of things that we have put into this 8-month program to make sure that when they graduate, they know South Fulton County.
And Carm, what about leadership objectives that you have in your chamber?
So our leadership program is called Elevate ATL, South Metro Leadership Academy. We do many of the same things Dyan does, but we're a little bit broader because we're regional. So we are taking the leaders of all areas and bringing them together and then moving forward from that point. And so it's not so much that you understand the community, but you understand cross-referencing in the communities, because our leadership program has leaders from 5 different counties in it at one time. And so they're all learning what's going on in each county and how to work together. And we make sure that we cover things like economic development on the state, the national, and the local level. And we make sure that we cover other things that are important, such as the Capitol and what's going on at the state level in the legislature and legislative updates and things of that nature. We're looking at our next class is on March 9th, and at that class we'll be discussing healthcare in the region. And so we will have speakers from Piedmont Fayette Hospital and also speakers from the Atlanta Medical Association to cover that class. So we're doing many of the same things Dyan's doing, but we have to broaden the scope a little bit because we can't just hone in on one county.
Okay, so let me ask a question, ladies. I as a citizen, how do I get in the program? What is necessary for me? Is there online application? How much does it cost? Can you address that for me?
Sure. So our program we send our information out on our program in May of each year, and our program starts in August. There is a cost to the program. It's $750, and it's for 7 sessions. It covers everything we do, though. So while you're there, it covers any materials you need. It covers lunch. It covers snacks. It covers transportation down to the Capitol. Like, all of that is lumped into that cost. And when we send the information out, we send it out in our newsletter, and then we post it on our website and our social media applications.
Yeah.
Dyan?
And the same pretty much. We start recruiting, sending the recruitment letters out in June because our graduation is in June. And then once we do that, that gives us time to have our committee review everything. The people that are applying, a lot of them were referred by other leadership alumni, but also by our members and by our board members. And we let them know that the classes are mandatory, and they start in October and they end in May, with a graduation in June. It's very successful because one of the things, in addition to what I said that we cover, we also, each session is a subject. Each section, like the one coming up this month is Georgia Power. They're hosting economic development. So we give everyone a schedule of what the topics are. It goes from health and wellness, education, economic development, environment, transportation. So we always have a day at Hartsfield-Jackson. It's like that. So when we're interviewing the candidates, we're going over that to see this is the major thing. What is your availability for all of this? Can you really commit to this? If your company is paying for you to attend, can they make the commitment that you will be available to attend the classes? Because it really doesn't do you any good to start and maybe you hit this one and miss that one and then miss the next 2 or something like that. So we're very strict about that. But it's mostly through referral, how we get the candidates that are submitted for us to review and then determine whether or not they're accepted into the class. And our tuition for the 8-month program is $800. And as Carm said, yes, indeed, everything is covered. All of our participants just know to bring themselves, and that's it. And that's from the orientation retreat to the graduation. There's nothing else for them to pay for other than that tuition.
After you guys do all your leadership training and all of the tuition is paid, they go through the system, they graduate. Are you still in contact with them so they can move other things forward?
Absolutely.
Oh, yes, sir.
Yeah, our leadership alumni are the backbone of the leadership program. So they are involved in the interviews. They are involved with, some of them come from time to time and will even ask for 5 minutes or something on the program just to talk to the students, to let them know what it has meant to them and how it has helped them. But we keep the leadership alumni involved in the program, and they even have a pin a leadership alumni pin that says just exactly that, so that when they're at chamber events, some of them have told me so many people have come up to them and asking them, how can I get that pin? That I like that pin. So that also helps with the recruitment, but it also identifies that chamber member now as they actually went through the leadership program.
And Carm?
We do the same. We're exactly the same on that point, that you have the alumni involved, and the alumni actually run our Stuff the Plane back to school supply project. That's part of it. So the alumni from last year will help the class from this year for the project in August. And like I said, we go from August to March. So then right after March, the March graduation, then we start the recruitment process all over again. But that process is very similar.
Yeah. Well, I want to be a part, but I don't have any money. How do I do that? I don't have $800 or $850, and I'm just a plain citizen, but I want to learn. Is there any way I can get in?
Mm-hmm. There is. With us, we always go to our corporate partners every year as we're putting the program together and find out who would be interested in sponsoring scholarships.
Mhm.
So we always set aside 4 scholarships just for that situation. And in this class, we have scholarship recipients, last one and the one before that, scholarship recipients. It's something new that we started when we brought leadership back. And we knew there were going to be citizens, not necessarily, some small businesses that just can't afford it right now. They're just trying to keep their doors open. So we wanted to provide that. But you have to go through the interview process. And if you make it through the interview process, then you can get the scholarship.
What about you, Carm?
We also have a scholarship program, and it's dependent on the interview process as well. And in our scholarship program, we give 2 to 3 scholarships, depends on how big the class is, but we try to keep the class at 20 or less.
Mm-hmm. Same here.
I'm going to talk to you guys about small businesses, because the 2 things that I see every day, and one is the lack of getting good employees to work for people,
Yes.
and the degree of customer service. And I think those 2 things are very pivotal to a successful, especially a small business that you would have. How can you all help nurture those small businesses and get them over the hurdle of I can't afford to have nobody, they won't stay, or how do I get to give the professional customer service that they need?
Yeah, it's right now, this is a difficult time when it comes to finding employees, especially for our restaurants. They are really being hit hard. So the main thing that we do is we make sure that they know anything they want us to get out, we are happy to get that out. We sometimes will follow up for a small business and speak with, for instance, Atlanta Tech, for a prime example, because they have so many placement counselors and all of this, and they help. They may not know that that particular business is really about to close its doors. I'll give one example, because one of our businesses that is a fantastic restaurant was about to close its doors because they lost their chef. And they could not find another chef. And they tried and they tried. So we called Atlanta Tech as a prime example, and they posted it and they were successful. They got some applicants and they actually found one, and they're moving along. But that's not the case with everyone. How do we help them with customer service? We have something called Small Business Institute. And in that institute, that is where we bring in some of the specialists that sit and talk with them. We talk about telling them that it's a good idea. You can either let the chamber do it, or you can hire someone to do it, or whatever, but that you need to have someone coming in and testing for you. And I think about, things like secret shopper and that kind of thing, where a person is standing there in line at, let's say, at a fast food restaurant, and they're watching the timers on the food and everything, and they're marking it down. We teach them how to do that, how to get people to come out and do that for them, or they can get with us. And some of our chamber ambassadors love doing that. They love to do that. And then we just give them the report on what they got. It doesn't help everybody. A lot of people don't want to do it and don't want you sending anybody over there to do that. They make it very clear. But for the ones that are open to it, they have said it has been very, very helpful. But it's still an ongoing process. We have to do as much as we can to at least educate them on ways that you can try to combat it. Because as I tell them all the time, it just takes that one person that could be your receptionist, and this person walks in and they gave them the wrong attitude and everything. They're not coming back anymore. So it's an ongoing problem, but we continue to try to help with it.
Carmen, what about you?
Well, one of the things we've done is we hold lunch and learns on customer service. That's one of the things we've done. But another thing that's come up lately that has helped quite a few businesses is virtual staffing, where a staffing company will only send you what you need for the amount of time you need it. So let's say I need to have a flyer done for my golf tournament, and it's only going to take an hour. Rather than pay someone to sit in my office all day and they don't have the skill set for what I need that day, I can have the virtual staffing company send me someone to do what I need, and then it's done. And so these virtual staffing companies are starting to pop up around the metro area pretty much. And they're also set up so that their staff is not necessarily all in one place. So if I need something and it's 5 o'clock and I need it at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, they may assign that to someone that's in a different time zone so that at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, that's done. And no one in my time zone had to work overtime to do it.
Okay. Now, can you hire these people if you'd like?
Yes, you can.
Very, very good. Now, listen, this is time for the legislature now. Everybody's down at the Gold Dome and dropping bills and trying to make things better for all of us. For the both of you, what is your legislative agenda looks like for both of your organizations?
I think mine is more on transportation right now. And what we can do with transportation, because I know that MART is working in quite a few things and we're out to support them on those. The airport's working on quite a few things. We're out to support that too. And then just letting the legislature know that these are things that are needed. So, what can you do to help? I know that on the Georgia level, everyone knows each other and everyone's all hands in. But then on the national level, you have Senator Warnock and Senator Ossoff that are really all hands in on transportation as well. Right. So there's a lot of projects coming our way that are national projects, and there's a lot of projects coming our way that are local. So I think that transportation is really the big thing for me right now. And then education is always big, because without education, you can't get the transportation done anyway.
Dyan?
And yeah, pretty much that's kind of true for us. Transportation is one of the major things on our agenda, but so is education, and so is economic development, and so is, I don't know a better word to put it, we put it down and turned it in that way, race relations, critical race theory, and all of that. We're trying, we're working with our legislators who are fighting hard in all of these areas, but also, as good as it is, if you can't just drive home from work at night and then have to be scared because you got pulled over and you don't know whether you're going to make it or not, make it home alive or not, that is an issue in our community, and it has to change. So we work with our legislators to find out what they are looking at to put on their agenda, and then we look to see if that is in line with what we're talking about and the areas that they're working that we have a concern with, an issue with, then that's what we add and let them know. And of course, they call on us sometimes to come down and speak on their behalf and that kind of thing. And that's what we do. But South Fulton County is, how can I say this? It's always last in a lot of areas, not last in what it offers, but last in people giving it credit for what it has. And we love the fact that we have so many in the Fulton delegation that get that, and love the fact that we are working with them on issues like that. It's really, I guess the issue is equity and parity is something that we're still working to get, especially education wise.
You're right. I'm glad you said that, because I think one of the big issues in the legislature, and I don't know how you all are homing in on it, this health disparity, the lack of having a hospital in the South Fulton area, the lack of proper ambulance service in the city. And I know that a lot of the fire chiefs have been arguing relentlessly on trying to have transport licenses so they can do a better job of saving lives. And when you lose hospital, you also lose jobs. And I know that chambers are all about jobs. And so I just want to know where you are on that. We're going to have to do something. We're wasting a lot of money on ambulance service, and we're not getting any service that we need. And Carmen, if you're worried about the airport, you know how important the ambulance service is.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. And see, you got a lot of Atlanta over there, so Atlanta has transport licenses. And they can do this, but there's something in the ambulance service called level 0. And what that means is that at that time during the day, that there's no ambulance available. And I have learned from professionals in this area that could happen 400 times a day, that there's no ambulance at all. So I want to lay that on you guys because I think it's important. You can go back to your people and talk about it and see how they would lend some support. I don't think that nothing's going to happen with the hospital situation right now until we get Medicare in here. But the ambulance service, something can be done about that, and we need to make sure that people are safe. And I think that's a position that the chamber needs to be in.
It's so true, and you are right. And we have discussed it, and we've discussed it with some of our legislators. I mean, from the time that our major hospital in South Fulton made the announcement that they were closing that particular hospital, that was a whammy on our entire community. And people immediately started trying to make plans on, are they going to go to Fayette? Are they going to go to Clayton? Where are they going to go? But it is life and death matter. It's a life and death issue. I'm sad to see that nothing's going to happen for it this year, but we keep pushing and we keep bringing it up. And we know our legislators really want to do something. And so that's all we can do is just keep sounding the horn and trying to get the attention, because we're happy to help in any way that we can.
Well, I want you to sound the horn on both of those issues you're doing. Both of my children was born in South Fulton Hospital. And I was on the board of the South Fulton Hospital for many years, Dan, you know that. And I just think that it's a great loss. It's a great loss to us as a community, but the economic impact, and you all as chambers understand what economic impact means. It's tremendous.
It is.
It is tremendous. So, but before we go today, I want to give each one of you a little time to talk about, you talked about a few of the projects or things that you're doing, but I know there's a whole lot more. I know now you got the one-on-one coaching thing and the community navigator and the junior chamber and stuff. And I know that Carm has some things. I want to give you some time to talk about other programs that you have that people probably don't know.
Yeah, sure thing. Well, many people still don't know about the Community Navigator program, and we do everything we can do to keep getting that word out. As a matter of fact, tomorrow we're having something called Meet the Spokes. These are the people, the business professionals approved by the SBA to work with our small businesses and to provide these services free of charge to them. You know, services like accounting, should you have a CPA? Should you have a bookkeeper? What is the difference? And how is that going to help or hurt my business? Legal guidance, marketing, website design, business development for those maybe you're trying to get your business started, but you really don't know how to. We have a number of professionals that are doing this free of charge for chamber members, but also for people that are not chamber members that are throughout South Fulton County. And so we have a whole dedicated line for them to just call and speak to our person that mans that line and gives them the information and sends them the application so that they can get into the program. That's a wonderful program. The money is from the SBA, but the SBA awarded the money to Fulton County government. So Fulton County is known as the hub because they received the money. And then the chamber is the super spoke that is providing the momentum to get people to come into the program so that the spokes can work with them. So it is absolutely phenomenal. We have one more year of the program under this contract, and we are just making our way to hit that goal of educating at least 200 small businesses before it's over. The other program that we absolutely love is our Junior Chamber of Commerce. And this is for our middle and high school students in the Fulton County public school system. And these young leaders, as I call them, are just phenomenal. The majority of them are entrepreneurs. They're already entrepreneurs. They just needed some guidance. So we use volunteers from the chamber that are in the fields that they're looking at to come out and to mentor them and to work with them. As an example, we're meeting with them on Saturday virtually, and we're bringing in someone on leadership because it's time for leadership development for them. So we try to hit a lot of areas that are going to assist them. And right now we're trying to, not trying to, but we're working hard to get sponsors to send about 8 of our students that are in the program to go along with another organization where the students will go to Washington, D.C. and in April, and they will be hosted by Congressman David Scott. They will be there to be on Capitol Hill, but they'll also be there to go to 4 colleges and universities in the Washington, D.C. area to tour them. So like Howard University, Georgetown University, and there are 2 others I don't have in front of me, but 2 others that they will be going to as well. So we're exposing them not only to opportunities for entrepreneurship, but also mentorship with our chamber members, as well as scholarships with some of the members want to provide, and it's really making a difference. So right now we have a board of directors, and the board of directors is made up of juniors and seniors from the local high schools in South Fulton County. And these amazing leaders are just totally on track. Our hardest part with them is to get on their schedule because they're so busy. They got so much going on, running their business, keeping their GPA up, and then all the activities that they belong to. So these are, I'd say, my 2 most favorite ones, along with the leadership program, which makes 3, that we just absolutely love and feel that if you're investing in your young people, then your community is going to be all right. And so that's our motto, and that's what we're following. That's the plan to continue.
Good. Carm, what program?
I would agree with Dyan on that. Investing in in youth is investing in the community. And so in addition to the YES program, which we've already spoken about, we have an adult version of that program too, and it is called our Economic Development Institute, which is run by our Innovation Academy. And in the adult program, we're actually helping small businesses become contractors and subcontractors and get certain qualifications so they also can achieve government contracts. So that's a big one for us. And like I said, it's the adult version of the YES program. And then we also are looking at some other things like finance. We found during COVID that many businesses didn't have finance in order, whether it be they didn't have a bookkeeper or an accountant or didn't know which the difference was between both, as Dyan mentioned. So we're getting ready to do a banking boot camp so that we can help small businesses understand what exactly it is you need to run your business financially and be successful. And some of our partners in that are Chase Bank, the Delta Credit Union, Zen Venture Funding, Goody Nation, and the SBA at Clayton State.
Mm-hmm. That sounds like a great program.
Yeah.
Lastly, before we leave, I want to talk to you about, I see all of you guys with your ribbon cuttings and your applause and your balloons, for people, things coming in. And I love to see that, okay? But I do know that what I would like to see, and some of you all are doing some of this, but what I would like to see is that we bring in businesses such as office buildings and things of that nature. Because I believe when they come, Popeyes and church is going to follow. You follow what I'm saying? So my point becomes, sometimes we get into something that I call oversaturation of businesses of like kind. Mm-hmm. All right. You got 10 automobile places on one street. Why put another one there? All right. And so I wish, as you all look at your businesses, consider that. Consider the oversaturation of business of like kind. And then consider the fact that if we ever going to be a productive city or region in terms of taxes, we're going to have to step our game up. Because right now, just about every city, you notice, Dyan, but just about in every city in South Fulton, I know, and Carm, is that the taxes on the backs of the property owners.
Right.
That's a dangerous place for us to be. Mm-hmm. And so we need to make, as you all go do your economic development, we just touch base on the fact that we need to have some more types of businesses, office, medical, and things of that nature to help us take some of the tax relief off of the people who are in the residency. Absolutely. So I just want to make that to you and give you all a minute to say what you want to say.
Okay, well, let's see. Well, first of all, to say that you are absolutely right. And that's one of the issues that we work with the cities on. As far as economic development, we want them to understand, and many of them do, that the emphasis has to be on what do we still need and not just on the same old on the same streets and things like that. So that's something that we are absolutely doing. We have so many programs that deal with working with our small businesses and teaching them how to remain open, not just open because we cut the ribbon and they had the ribbon cutting, but what do you do to try to ensure that you are being successful and that you're able to keep that business open? And a lot of that goes back to what we discussed just a little while ago. And one of it is about customer service. That is one of the major problems that we have in the area, is getting some businesses to understand the importance of good customer service in order to maintain that customer base. So we're doing things like that, along with the things that we're doing for our youth, as well as regular chamber networking opportunities and things like that. But the good thing about our chamber, and I know Carm's chamber and most chambers throughout this region, is that we're like sponges. So we want to hear from what is needed from our businesses out there. And then that's when we go into action for the next year and start planning and implementing something that can address that. So that's how I feel that a chamber can help businesses, and that there's small investment in the chamber for small businesses. With us, it's only $275. So it hasn't even changed in the 13 years that I've been here. And we try to get them to understand, if you utilize it, if you utilize the chamber as a catalyst to help connect you to where you need to be and what resources that you need, then it's definitely going to pay off. And that's our motto. We say where business blooms, and we try to bloom it and then connect it so it can bloom some more over there in the next city.
I got you. But before I leave you, just tell us how we get in contact with the South Fulton Chamber.
Yes, you can get in touch with the chamber by going to our website, southfultonchamber.com. And the info section, just put in your information, whatever questions that you have, and we will be responding to you immediately. We have a team, that's all they do, is pull those messages and forward them to myself and our membership director. If you want to call, you can reach us at 770-964-1984. That's the office number.
Okay, Carm.
Well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
As we leave, what would you like to say?
First of all, I'd like to thank you for having us on the program. This has been a very delightful evening for me. And we're doing many things as well. Some of the things Dyan's doing also. So, there's a bit of collaboration there. But to get a hold of our chamber, our website is airportchamber.com. And our phone number is 404-209-0910. And then we have a newsletter that is called The Runway. So if you sign up on our website, we'll put you on our mailing list, and then you'll know what's going on with the ATL Airport Chamber.
Good. Well, ladies, it's been great having both of you here. I don't see much of you anymore. Well, y'all ducking me, I'm ducking you, but I consider both of you, I've known you for a while. I consider both of you family. We've always worked together on things. And Carm told me I was family before she got on. So I'm looking for a dinner or something at the house.
Okay, well, now you're going to have to talk to Jim Scott about that, because he cooks to relax, and I believe he should relax to his heart's content.
Okay, I'm going to talk to Jim, but I know what you said. So once again, you guys are doing a great job, especially in leadership and helping us get to where we are. But remember one thing, if you're leading somebody and you look behind you and nobody's following you, that's right, you're just taking a brisk walk.
Right.
That's right.
So prepare us as we go forward, okay?
You got
Thank you so much to both of you, and good luck on both chambers. I think you're doing a fantastic job.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you, Bill.
You having us.
All right.
Yes, we do. We appreciate you.
Okay.
You had the twins on this evening.
The twins
Yeah.
on. I got it. They'll be back.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Take care, sir.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.